Hi, this is Alex Friedrich, your macroeconomics instructor. Today I'm going to take you on a quick tour of our class's D2L site so that you know where to go when you need something. So as you can see here, we're on our home page. And if you want to get to our course, you just click on the course number there, and it'll take you to our main page. So everything you need is going to be in the content section. But before we get there, I want to show you the announcements page. This is going to be the main way I communicate with you. So make sure that you set up D2L so you can get notifications when I post something here. Now here under materials, we're going to go to content. That's kind of the core of the thing. And take a look first of all at the overview section. This is going to kind of give you a little bit on who I am, what the course is about, and some tips and stuff to help you be the best student possible in this class. So be sure to check that out. Now if we go over here to the table of contents, you'll see this is really the main part. And we'll start here with the syllabus. All right. Now this is the main syllabus. It's going to tell you everything you need to know. It's quite long, but this is the ruling document. This is what we're all going to be relying on. But I know a lot of you don't have that much time. So if you go over here, you'll see a one-page summary of the syllabus. So this is going to contain in just one page practically everything you need to know, the most important stuff, the most common information that you guys request throughout the semester. So if you have a question, check here first. Chances are, when it comes to grades, deadlines, all that stuff, it'll tell you what you need to know. So let's go back to the table of contents, and you'll see here the sapling link. So the link to the sapling homework. This is your online homework system. If you click here, it'll tell you how to enroll. And when you do enroll, and every time after that, when you enter sapling, you need to use this link. Don't do it out from an outside source. Go through D2L, click on this link, and it'll click you through to sapling. And I'm going to go ahead and talk to you about this a little later on. So let's go back over here. We'll go back to the table of contents. And sapling should also tell you, here this link, it'll tell you a bit. It's got a link there on instructions, troubleshooting, stuff like that. Let's go to the instructions then for the essay. Now each week you'll be writing an essay for me, and you want to make sure that you do it the way it's supposed to be done. This will give you a matrix or a sort of a list of how to get your points, what's expected of you, the guidelines, rules, all that good stuff. So make sure you have read this before you write your first essay, which by the way is due this Friday. So back to the table of contents. Now we're getting to the weekly modules. That's kind of this stuff here. You'll notice that each module will tell you which week we're in, and it'll tell you what chapters we're covering, as well as the titles of those chapters, and it tells you when they begin. Now, chances are, the way I've had this set up, you'll probably only be able to see the current week and the weeks you've done before. So let's click on this, and everything you need for that week is going to be found here. All right, take a look at the most important concepts. This is sort of like a mini study guide. So when it comes time to take a quiz or take a test, these are the most important things you'll need to focus on. Now, the test and the quiz are going to be possibly covering a few other little things, but this is the most important stuff. All right. Now, when you start each week, go here first. At the top of this module, you'll always find a link. It says read this first, and this is a checklist of sorts, a list of all the things you'll need to know. Now don't get intimidated. The first week or two is much so fuller of stuff, has many more things you'll need to do than in other weeks. Other weeks won't be this bad, but this will tell you some notes, kind of what you need to know. It'll tell you priorities. It'll list things out. You don't have to do things in the exact order, but it gives you a pretty good idea of what to do when. And you'll notice that after the first few weeks, it all tends to be sort of the same rhythm. Important thing, stuff in red. The stuff that I'm going to be grading you on is right here. Everything else is either ungraded or stuff that isn't actually an assignment. It'll tell you, what you need to do and read and see, the work and stuff. And again, you've got a few extra things you need to do the first couple of weeks or so. Don't worry about it. You'll be able to get it in, but I suggest you start as soon as possible. But anyway, get used to looking at the read this first the read this first sheet or checklist at the beginning of each week. So if you take a look again at each week in the module, after this week first, you'll see videos. Okay, different types of videos. You'll see some documents, various things you'll need. This is all the stuff, all the material that you'll need. Notice one thing about the videos. Okay, each video, not every video, but many of the videos have little notes that I've done. This little explanatory stuff, but also it'll tell you about stuff that you can avoid. It might tell you, hey, look, just focus on the section between 1 minute and 23 seconds and 1 minute or 6 minutes and 30 seconds. So it'll tell you stuff you might need to avoid. The thing to remember about these two is that these are sort of third-party videos that I found on Facebook. And many of them are very good about honing in on the material that you need to know. But because they're not written by the author or produced by the author, there's not 100% overlap. But that's why you need to take a look at these things right here. And I'll tell you, hey, this uses slightly different terminology. Okay? Or don't worry about this particular part that it talks about. Our book doesn't cover that. Okay? But the main thing to remember is don't worry about it. Okay? You can read these in any order you want. There's obviously going to be some overlap from one to another. Read or watch the ones that you think help you. Remember, you're missing out on a good 3 hours of class time by taking an online course. So you really should be looking at practically all the videos in here, because a lot of them will add up to an hour and usually less. So this is the core part of this, but don't worry about what to watch in what order. Come what's natural to you, and feel free to ask me any questions if there's something about terminology that you don't understand. All right, keep an eye on these descriptions as I mentioned. So going back here, let me go back to the main part. Okay, we've talked about this. We've talked about the videos. Here you've got an essay. All right, in each week, as I mentioned, you'll be doing an essay, and you'll have to go into the assignments folder up here, and writing, and you'll have to write your essay on a Word document and submit it. These are the instructions, the very basic ones, tell you about the topic and any things you need to know for that week, and I'll grade you on it and give you some feedback on that. So that's the essay. The quiz, you'll have one, sometimes more quizzes right here, and that's where you'll access it. And if you have a test every 4 weeks, you'll find your test in the appropriate module here at the very bottom. Notice that your assignments outside of the homework, your essays, your quizzes, it'll tell you when it starts, and it'll tell you the deadline. And almost everything in this class is going to be due the Sunday at the end of the week we cover a particular chapter, and it's going to be due at 11:55 p.m. This week's going to be just a little different, and I'll explain that in read this first part right here. So to see grades, go ahead and take a look at assessments, go to grades, and then you'll see your grades here. Obviously, it's empty right now. Understand, though, that Sapling, which I'll show you in just a sec, keeps its own grades in a separate book. And I'm going to import these grades and kind of fill in these blanks every 4 weeks or so. And then you'll see what your grades are and kind of how they match up and how your whole grade is affected by those things. So don't worry about that. If you have any questions, go ahead and let me know. The reason I don't do it every week is it's kind of a complicated import process. So I'm going to do it to give you an idea what your grade is overall before you walk into the first, second, third, and final test. So Sapling, let's get back to Sapling. So go here, go to content, and then we'll go to here, link to Sapling homework. Again, always go through this link, and it will take you to this right here. Now, your screen's going to look a little different from mine. This looks like a new kind of update because they've got a new version of Sapling that should tell you kind of what the due dates are for all of the assignments. If not here, it'll have it right here in each assignment. So multiple places. Now, I suggest you get used to this as soon as you can. Here's a video that you can watch introducing kind of what Sapling Learning is, and then use this, using the tools in Sapling Learning. I'll open this in a different tab. And this will give you an idea of what your average homework assignment looks like. And this is sort of orientation. It's not graded, but I suggest you do it. And it'll give you an example of the various types of exercises and problems and things that you'll have to do. And you can practice on this so you understand the format. Because remember, when you're actually doing real homework, you don't want to be a stranger to the format. You don't want this to be the first time that you come across this particular format. So practice this, run through, make sure you're familiar with it, and so when it comes time to do the homework, you won't make mistakes and lose points because you've misunderstood the format. So go ahead and make sure you're familiar with this. And finally, if you have a question about an assignment or about how the class is run, I suggest you go here. Discussions. Please try to go here first. I've got 2 discussion forums, and students have been at a very good time doing this in the past. If you have a question about the class, that is like how it's run, grading, policies, stuff like that, post in here. And if you have a question about actual economic stuff, about a question in the homework, or something is kind of fuzzy about a particular economic concept, post about it here. And try to please kind of check in every few days or every day or so to see whether somebody has posted a question, because if you can answer it, try to answer it. It's much more efficient for somebody to answer it, for everybody to be able to learn from that question, than for me to sort of post everybody's or answer the same question 10 times to 10 different people. Now, I'm going to monitor this constantly, and I will be helping people out as well. So this will give you a chance to get the information from me before having to ask me individually. But again, if that doesn't work, if things are still fuzzy, if you still have a question, don't worry about it. Feel free to email me your question or give me a call if it's more complicated. I'll either answer it by email or I'll give you a call if it requires a lot of explanation. So just remember that I'm here for you. I'll help you any way I can, and don't be shy about asking for help. Okay? So thanks for watching and good luck. And remember, I'm always here to help you. I want you to succeed. I want you to have a successful semester. So good luck and take care. Thanks for watching.